Hi, thanks for joining me today. My name is Mary. The topic of today's class is equanimity. So, equanimity is a practice that you can use to stay calm when you're experiencing strong emotions. So, it's not a practice of stuffing your emotions down, it's a practice of allowing your evolved thinking brain to be able to deal with a situation that your primitive brain is responding to. So let's get started. For today's practice, it will be really helpful to have blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can also use a chair. I was going to have the chair over, but we'll just have this to the side. So let's start by coming to a position on your back. And we'll just settle in here. So you could have your knees up or your legs straight. Come into your breath. Maybe take your hands onto your belly. And just notice where your breath is coming from. Is it coming more from your chest or your belly? First, notice that and take a couple of breaths. One way to tame your primitive brain is to come into a more relaxed state. And one way to do that is with your breath. So let's practice something called belly breathing. So with your hands on your lower abdomen, take a breath in and allow your lower belly to expand as you're inhaling. And then exhale through your mouth. So let's do that one more time. Big deep inhale, allowing your lower belly to rise, and then letting the air go. So take a couple more of those breaths at your own pace. And as you're breathing, just notice if you're feeling any switches or changes in the way you're feeling. Allow your awareness to come to any parts of your body that may be holding tension. And see if you can just let that go. And just come into this space. So take one last inhale and exhale. And then roll onto your side and then come to an all fours position. We'll start with our standard cat-cows just to loosen the spine. So spread your fingers wide, bring your knees about hip-width distance apart, and start by inhaling your chest and tailbone up, and then exhaling, bringing your chin to your chest, tucking in your tailbone. And as you go throughout practice today, notice where your breath is coming from. And if you notice that you're mostly breathing from your chest, see if you can bring in that belly breathing practice into your movement practice. So once you've done a couple of cat-cows, loosening up your spine, curl your toes, lift your knees off the ground, and then press into a downward dog, keeping your knees quite bent. Let your neck relax, and then pedal your feet, bringing one heel towards the earth and then the other. And do this at your own pace. You can move with your breath, or if you feel like you need to get some energy out, maybe move a little bit of a faster pace. And feel the backs of your legs loosening up. So feeling length along the back of your hamstring,
feeling your Achilles tendon loosening up. Notice where your neck is. Maybe give a yes-no shake. Let the tension drip away. Now look to your hands. Walk your feet up to your hands to come to a halfway lift with a very straight back. You could have your hands on your thighs or your shins. Let the crown of your head reach towards the front of the room and your tailbone pressing back. So feeling length along the whole length of your spine. So expansion along your spine. Now we're going to forward fold, bend your knees a lot. So rest your chest on the top of your thighs. Let your neck completely relax. You could hold on to opposite elbows with your hands. Maybe stillness feels good for you in this position. Maybe rocking back and forth feels good. This is your practice. You choose what feels best for you. If you were holding on to your elbows, let go. Press your feet into the earth and press up into a standing position. Bring your arms wide first and then up. And stand on your tippy toes, stretching and reaching. And then bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take a full deep breath in. Bring your arms out and up. Bring your hands through heart center. Tense your fingers. Step your right foot back into low lunge. Lift your chest up. Plant your hands. Step your left foot back into downward dog. Breathe in. Come to all fours. And then sink into child's pose. You could have your knees wide or together. Feel what feels good for your body. Bring your right hand to the outside of your mat and then place your left hand on top of right. So feel the expansion along your left side body. You could rest your head on your right arm. Take a breath here. And then when you're ready to inhale, come back to center. Rest your forehead on the mat. And then press into all fours. And then exhale, press back into downward dog. Let your neck relax. Bring your tailbone up to the sky. Bring your heels towards the ground. Once again, feeling that expansion. Feeling the push and pull. Now look to your hands. Walk your feet up to your hands to come to a halfway lift. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. Maybe your legs are a little bit straighter now. If they're still bent, that's perfectly okay. Press your feet into the earth to rise up, arms out and up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take a deep breath in, reaching, expanding, hinge at your hips. Tense your fingers, step your left foot back into a low lunge. Lift your chest up as you breathe in, and then plant your hands, step your right foot back into downward dog. Breathe in, come to all fours, and then sink into child's pose with your arms out in front of you. Rest your forehead on the mat. Now bring your left hand to the left side of the mat and place your right hand over left. You can rest your head on your upper arm. Breathe in, come to child's pose, and then come to all fours. Curl your toes, bring your hips high and back to downward dog. And when you're ready to take a deep breath in, walk your feet up to your hands to come to a halfway lift. Hinge and forward fold, and then press your feet into the ground to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Take another full deep breath in, reaching, extending. Bring your hands through your heart, tense your fingers. Step your right foot back into a low lunge. Then step your left foot back into plank. From plank, we're going to bring our right hand right underneath our face, and we're going into a side plank. So you could reach your left hand up into side plank. If this is too much, you can bring your right knee to the ground. So find a position that feels good for you. Notice where your breath is. We'll take one more breath here. Now bring your left hand down. Move your right hand a little bit over. Go to your knees, so it's kind of an all fours position, and then all the way to your belly. Rest your forehead on the mat. Press the tops of your feet into the mat, and as you lift your chest up, breathe in, draw your shoulders down and back. So feeling sensation in your upper back. We'll take a breath here. As you're ready to exhale, lower your forehead to the ground. Press up into all fours and then curl your toes on your way to downward dog. Lift your right leg up to the sky, and we'll just do some hip circles. So make big, wide circles at your hip, straight leg. Now bend your right knee, and then we're going to open up to the left. So just feeling expansion along your right side body. Now come back to center, so bring your right foot up, and then place your right foot next to your left. Walk your feet up to your hand to come to halfway lift. Hinge and forward fold, and then press into the ground to rise up all the way, standing on your tippy toes. And then bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Let's do the other side. Press your feet into the earth, rise up, arms out and up. Bring your hands to your heart, hinge at your hips, tense your fingers, step your right foot back into low lunge. Now plant your hand, step your left foot back into plank. In plank pose, draw your belly up towards your spine and just rock back and forth. So feeling the stretching in your Achilles again. Now bring your left hand underneath your face and then lift your right hand up to the sky into a side plank. Again, you could go on your knees if that feels better for you. Maybe looking up at your fingers, and notice where your breath is. So keeping a steady, even breath as you hold the pose. Now bring your right hand down, and you might have to move your left hand over to the left a little bit. Lower all the way to your belly. Rest your forehead on the mat. When you're ready to breathe in, lift your chest up, maybe pressing up a little bit higher into cobra, but still drawing your shoulders down and back. So now you'll be feeling sensation in your upper and lower back. Tops of your feet will be pressing into the earth. We'll take a breath or two here. And when you're ready to exhale, lower your forehead to the ground. Now press up into all fours and then all the way to downward dog. Let your neck relax. Bring your left leg up to the sky, and then we'll do some circles. You can maybe do a couple circles one way and then the other. So just opening up the hip joint, loosening up. Now bring your left leg up to the sky, bend your left knee, and then this time open to the right. So keeping your shoulders in the same position, so just opening up at your hip, so not opening all the way, so just using an opening at the hip. So now bring your left leg up to the sky, and then place your left foot down. Now look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands to come to halfway lift. Hinge and fold at your hips, and then press into the earth to rise up. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. Now come to the side of your mat. You'll have your legs spread wide. Your toes will be a little bit pointing in. Bring your arms up to the sky
And then open your heart. So drawing your shoulders back into a star pose. Now we're going to hinge at the hips. So lowering down and let your neck relax. So the crown of your head will be to the earth. You could have if you have your blocks, you could have your hands on blocks. And just settle in here for a couple breaths. So feeling the expansion across the back of your leg. Now we're going to bend the right knee so you'll stretch open. So feeling a stretch in your left leg. So placing your heel on the ground with your toes up. And then move over to the other side. So this time bending your left knee, straightening your right, pointing your right toes up at the earth. Up at the sky, I mean. And then you can just go back and forth in that movement. So bending one knee, straightening the opposite. Just really feeling the openness and the stretching across the back of the straight leg. And let's do one more on each side. And then come back to center. Let your neck relax again. And we're going to rise up to a halfway lift. From this position, place your hands on your lower back and then just slowly rise up. Now we'll once again come to the front of your mat. Bring your arms up to the sky. Press your feet into the earth. Hinge and fold. Tense your fingers. Step your left foot back, but plant your left foot into the earth. Now press into your right foot to rise up. So your right knee will be bent, your back leg will be straight and strong, your back foot will be at about a 45-degree angle. So now turn your hips and chest to the left and open up into Warrior Two. So feeling a stretch in both directions from your hands, so opening up across your whole upper body. Noticing where your knee is in relation to your toes, so make sure you're not overextending your front knee. Now as you're ready to take a breath in, flip your right palm in reverse. Maybe gazing up into the crook of your right arm. Now from here, straighten your front leg into a reverse triangle. Now we're going to come into a triangle pose. So first, reach your right hand forward as far as you can reach. Then place your right hand on your thigh or shin or to the floor, your left hand to left hip, and open up your chest. So we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. So have the sensation of your thigh bone of your front leg pressing up into your hip. If it's accessible to you, bring your left hand up to the sky. And then maybe your right hand goes to the floor. But if you find yourself folding in, maybe place your hand on your shin or your thigh. So keep that opening, drawing your left shoulder back. As you're ready to exhale, we're going to lift the back leg, step up just maybe like a foot or two. So now your right leg will be mostly straight, but don't lock your knee, coming into a pyramid pose. This is where the blocks might come in handy. So you could have your blocks to bring the ground up a little bit closer to you. Or if you don't have blocks, you could be in this same position, but use the chair to help support you. So what we're going for is really feeling that stretch in the back of your front leg. So now your back leg will be grounded.
And let your neck relax. If you're using a chair, you can just fold over that chair. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. Now, when you take a breath in, we're going to something called revolved triangle. So this time we're going to place our left hand either on your chair or a block or the ground, and your right arm will come up to the sky. So notice where your breath is. I think this is probably one of my least favorite poses, but one that I likely need the most. Okay, so bring your right hand down. We'll come into that pyramid pose again. Let your neck relax. Now bend your right knee and then press up into warrior one. So your right foot will be bent. We'll take a breath in, open up into cactus arms. Exhale, close, and let's do that one more time. So just open up your heart and close. So now step your left foot to meet your right. I'm just going to move my chair out of the way here. Take a deep full breath in, reaching, extending. Hinge and fold. Tense your fingers. Step your right foot back this time. So your left knee will be bent. Press into the earth with your right foot to rise up. Bring your hands on your hips. Now this time open up to the right and then bring your hands out to your arms out to your sides into warrior two. You might need to adjust your feet. So find that position of strength in your base and your legs. Stretching your arms in both directions, feeling the openness across your chest, gazing out over your left fingertips. And we'll take a breath here. Now flip your left palm and reverse. Feeling the openness and expansion along your left side body. Now we'll come into triangle pose on this side. So straighten your left front leg, reach as far as you can reach, and then place your left hand on your thigh, shin, or floor. Bring your right hand to your hip and feel that openness in your chest. So if you can keep your right shoulder drawn back to keep that opening, you could go to the floor with your left fingers and maybe bring your right hand up to the sky. So have the sensation of pulling your left femur into your hip bone. Notice if your knee is locked, so give a little bit of a micro bend there. Now bring your right hand down. So once again, a blocks or chair could come in handy. So we're coming to that pyramid pose. It might be helpful to step your back foot up slightly, maybe about a foot. And once you've found your position, let yourself settle in. So let your neck relax and fold over. So you should be gazing at your left knee. So we'll stay here for a couple of breaths just to allow the muscles of the left leg, the back of the left leg, to open up. And when you're ready to take a breath in, place your right hand on either the ground or a block or a chair, and then open up, bringing your left hand up to the sky. So notice where your breath is and see if you can find some equanimity in your breathing. If you're holding your breath, or maybe your breath is choppy, see if you can access that space in your belly to take a deep breath in through your belly
And exhaling, drawing your belly into your spine. So bring your left hand down. We'll come into pyramid pose just for a couple more breaths. Let your neck relax. Just notice if you're feeling more expansion in your left leg. When you're ready to take a breath in, step your right foot to meet your left. Press both feet into the earth to rise up. Bring your hands up to the sky, and then bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. So we'll do one balancing pose. So bring first be steady on both of your feet. So stand up tall, micro bend to your knees, draw your shoulders up towards your ears, and then draw your shoulder blades down and back. So just stand here for a moment, and then when you're ready, bring your weight to your left foot, tenting the toes of your right foot, and then we'll come into tree pose. So you could bring your the bottom of your right foot to your ankle, to your calf, or all the way up to your thigh. Oops, I'm having a little trouble here balancing, which is totally fine. So just find that balance. If you tumble and fall, just try it again. So once you've arrived, you could bring your arms up, maybe into a cactus shape, maybe into a tree shape, whatever works for you. Maybe a little bit of movement. Think of your arms as branches moving with the wind. And then you could bring your hand to your heart and down to your side. Take a breath in, press both feet into the earth, arms up, bring your hands to your chest and down to your side. And let's go to the other side. So bring all of the weight to your right foot and tent the toes of your left foot, either at your ankle, your calf, or your thigh. Finding a position that works good for you. And then letting your arms, they could stay at your heart or maybe up to the sky. Find a position that works for you and just settle in. And notice where your breath is. Notice if you're holding your breath, and just see if you can find some evenness in your breath. And then you can bring your hands to your heart. Bring both feet down to the earth. Take a deep breath in. Bring your hands to your heart and down to your sides. So let's come to a seated position. Bring both feet out in front of you to start. Maybe just give a couple of little rubs on your legs, little massage to the muscles. So bring your right knee up. Your left leg will be straight. And we're going to do a twist. So place your left hand on your right knee. Bring your right hand up to the sky to start. And then we're just going to twist to the right. So sitting up tall, so both of your sitting bones are on the earth. Just feeling the openness across your spine. And bring awareness to your breath. Maybe you'll notice your breath slowing. So now, when you're ready to take a breath in, come to center, straighten your right foot, and then just do a little bit of a twist to the left. Come to center, bring your left knee up. So I could have given you the option on the other side, so you could keep your left foot on the inside of your right leg, or you can bring it to the outside. So that gives a little bit more of a stretch. So you can play around with what works for you and what feels good for you. Now place your right hand on left knee, bring your left hand up to the sky, and let's twist to the left. Sitting up tall, just imagining the crown of your head stretching forward so you have a really nice, long, straight spine up and down, but twisting to the left. So just feeling the expansion in your spine, bringing awareness once again to your breath. Notice if one of your sitting bones has lifted up. Maybe that means to keep them both evenly rooted, you need to untwist a little bit, which is perfectly fine. So we'll take one more breath here, and when you're ready to inhale, we'll bring your both legs straight. Bring your arms up to the sky, and we're going to fold over our legs. So let your neck relax. Find a spot that feels good for you. Maybe your hands are on your thighs or your shins, maybe to your toes. But feeling the sensation of the stretch along the back of your legs, but letting your upper body let go. So letting your neck relax. Notice if you're holding tension. Maybe give a little yes, no shake. And then sitting up, and you can bend your knees, and we'll go all the way to your back. Now bring your knees up so your feet will be off the ground. Place your hands on your knees, and we're just going to roll from side to side. Just give your spine a massage. Now hold on to your shins and roll up into a tiny ball, bringing your forehead towards your knees. And then stretch long. So bringing your arms one direction, your feet the other, feeling complete expansion. And then come to your resting position. So one option for a resting position is something called Supta Baddha Konasana. Love to say that. So that's where it's like a reclined butterfly. So you bring the soles of your feet together, and you could use your blocks to let your knees open up. So we'll stay here for a couple breaths, or you could choose to stay here as your Shavasana-like posture. So feel yourself settling in. So you can stay here in this position or come to Shavasana, and just feel yourself settling in, feeling your back sinking into the earth. Bringing awareness to where your breath is, and not trying to control your breath in any way. Just letting your breath come back to its natural cadence. So let your breath allow yourself to relax. So send your breath to your neck and allow the muscles of your neck to relax, letting your head settle into your mat. Use your breath to send relaxation down your shoulders, down your arms, past your elbows, all the way to your fingers. Feeling your arms settle into the earth. Now let your breath ease down your back, your upper back, your middle back, and your lower back. Allow the muscles to relax and settle in. Use your gentle breath to send relaxation down your legs, past your knees, all the way to your toes. Feel your legs anchoring in. So one of the ways to foster equanimity is to find ways to have love and compassion for yourself and for others. So one way to foster this compassion is to use a technique called a loving kindness meditation. So I'll lead you through that today. So start by imagining your loved ones, the people that are closest to you, and show your love and compassion. Send your love and compassion to those people. Opening up your heart. Now imagine somebody that you know, maybe an acquaintance that you don't have really any strong feelings for one way or the other, and send love and compassion to that person. It could be maybe somebody that you see at the store, a clerk at a store, somebody that you know at work but don't really interact with much. Next, think of somebody that you've had a conflict with recently and find a way to show loving compassion to that person. Maybe it's imagining that person as a child that suffered a hurt and is now acting out. Send your love and compassion to that young person. Now imagine everybody in the whole world and send your love and compassion to everyone, people, animals. Now rest here. I'll read a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Now rest here for a couple of moments. There's nothing left for you to do. Just simply be. Feel your breath. Once again, bring awareness to your breathing. Lengthen your inhales and your exhales. Feeling energy and oxygen bringing you back to life. Maybe feeling some wiggles in your fingers and your toes. And as you continue to deepen your breath, maybe feeling movement in your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, you can roll onto your right side, perhaps using your right arm as a little pillow, maybe drawing your knees up to your chest. And take a moment here in gratitude. Thank yourself for taking the time for self-care, taking time out of your busy day to find some peace and equanimity. And then when you're ready, you can press yourself up to a seated position. And then when you arrive, bring your hands to your heart and just take a moment to notice the beating of your heart. Still fostering that love and compassion radiating out through your heart. Thank you so much for practicing. Namaste.